Oh, baby, how you like?
Let's get together, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why don't you and I combine?
And friends are friends forever, if the Lord's the Lord of them. All my life, you're a friend of mine.
It's Cece and Adam.
Okay. Behind the scenes.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
Whew.
Express behind the scenes.
Tech was not my calling.
No, it really wasn't your calling. And I expected it to be because you're a lot younger than I am. We're trying to get our, I wanted to record on the iPad, not the iPhone.
Right, which looked like a giant screen TV trying to be mounted to the wall on a stand.
Well, then I took the iPad and I leaned it against the, what's that thing called?
The tripod?
The tripod. Yeah. So I said to Ellie, I was like, I set the iPad up this morning. Can we record on the iPad? She's like, no, I can't. Have you ever seen the video quality on an iPad? I'm like,
it's clear.
looked fine to me.
I don't really know. No.
And then, yeah, it was.
And then your face might be blocked by your microphone. You know, we don't really know what's. If you're watching on YouTube, you let us know.
Well, and then I leave it to you. First of all, this is the Mom Lineal podcast,
Yes.
and we should maybe make the title more inclusive because now we have Gen Z with us, our producer Ellie.
3 generations in one.
So I am almost 50 years old. Gen X.
That's right.
I text Adam and Ellie, my millennial and my Gen Z, and I said, hey, can you two do some Googling around to figure out how we can now record our podcast with Ellie being remote?
Right. She's in the middle of the country now.
You got nothing! You brought nothing to the table. Nothing. It was 15 minutes.
Yeah. Of let me try this. Let's press this level,
I'm
this
so
mode,
annoyed.
this. I don't know if there's a way to actually record
Yes,
it
there
into.
is. Every podcast in the whole world has guests that like call it. It's just a button.
Maybe
It's
we
a
need
button.
to buy more. Should we start buying more?
I'm always game for buying. You would think with my old Gen X brain that I would be the last person to contribute to this conversation, but I guess we'll just have to leave it up to me.
That's right. Now we'll just have to mime Ellie moves on the YouTube video.
Again, once again. Everybody's just waiting with bated breath for the update, but why don't you give me an update and then I will transcribe it again like we did last week, and then by next week I'll figure it out and fix it. And then I also have a report for you on the status of my actual brain.
Which hopefully 2 thumbs up.
We were able to see literally inside my brain yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute. So what's your update? Yeah,
Lord help us, Ellie says.
How are you? You're almost 2 weeks into your big girl job, corporate America. How's it going? That doesn't sound super good.
I don't know. It doesn't pick up at all, but I don't know if it would anyways because of low tone.
Sounds a little meh.
I think she's finding corporate America isn't as dreamy as we thought it was.
This whole 8 to 5 business isn't really suiting you.
It's a long
She was
time.
like, it's different than I thought. It's okay.
It's going okay.
All right.
It's going okay.
Well, we're going to give you another week to firmly plant yourself on solid grounds, and maybe you can have a better report for us next week after I figure out how to connect to the audio to you.
The problem is she hasn't had the barbecue where she's at yet. That's what's going to give you that
She
zip.
has.
Oh, she has.
She's in Kansas City. Yeah, we did get a text that it's the best barbecue in the land.
Real now,
Yes.
like the land where she lives, or the land of like our land
The whole
of
land,
America.
The whole land of milk and honey. The whole land.
That's amazing. We're gonna have to go visit just
I know.
because of that.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago we were talking. Ellie had been interviewed for this really big job for an NFL team.
Yeah.
She came in second place. That's okay. Sometimes you come in second place.
I mean, some teams would love to be second place.
Like the Lions.
This is their year.
Ellie thinks that the Lions are going to be good this year. We'll just edit that out. I don't believe it to be true. So one of the things that Ellie did to prepare for this big interview was watch a Netflix movie on quarterbacks, right? What's it called?
It's called Quarterbacks.
It's just called quarterbacks.
It's called quarterbacks. Okay. Now, here is my connection. When Ellie was in Spanish immersion school, the teachers did this thing where they'd say, conexión, conexión. And then they would go like this with it. So they would, do this. If you're watching on YouTube, you can
like
see.
an itsy bitsy spider thing.
That's really good.
Okay.
It like connects you. And it was to try to train the kids because kids are very like singularly thought focused.
Totally.
And they ping, right?
Oh yeah.
So they ping everywhere. And so the teacher would try to bring like, well, what's your connection to what I'm saying? And if a kid would raise their hand and make a conexión, then it was like, way to make a conexión, right? You pick up what I'm laying down?
Now, Ellie didn't do this in the job interview, did she? Because maybe
that was the
that
problem.
might have spooked him off a little bit.
I don't think so. So, in the movie Quarterbacks, there is a very famous quarterback, Kirk Cousins, whom we love because he's from our hometown.
Absolutely.
And he was doing neurofeedback with a neurofeedback expert from our area.
Oh.
I had dinner with him last night.
Neuro guy.
Neuro guy.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to call him Dr. B. No, so my son Zane is on his son's travel baseball team.
Awesome.
Get
Okay.
the Conexión?
Yep, all Conexión everywhere.
Conexión.
All spider web.
And Zane is a really great athlete, but he suffers a little bit from mental blocks because he gets very, very stressed out.
Oh, and everything shuts down, if you will.
Yes, he gets super anxious when he's
Okay.
on the field.
Aw.
And so this guy was like, I would love to map his brain. And so they invited us over and I was like, yes, this is so exciting.
Map away.
Map away. So it turns out a lot of Zane's teachers have thought that he has ADHD.
Okay.
Because he's busy, right? He's always moving.
And always wants to be an athlete and moving around and running, yes.
So I'm calling him Dr. B.
Dr. B.
Mapped his brain last night after dinner. It was so cool. You put a cap on, okay?
Like a baseball cap, or we're talking like a shower cap kind of thing?
Like a shower cap, skull cap that's got a bunch of holes in it. And then they take a little like electrode prodder thing and they a screwdriver like into your scalp. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Oh my word. No one's ever mapping me ever.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. And turns out Zane does not have ADHD. That part of his brain was totally white space.
It's right where it needs to be.
Apparently in the brain there's like alpha, theta, beta, 1, 2, 3 or something like that. I know. Who knew our brains had so many waves?
What?
Lots of waves.
Yeah, I guess so. Ride them.
That part of the ADHD thing was totally fine on Zane.
Great.
So they were like, good thing nobody ever put this kid on medication because that wouldn't even help.
And you wonder how many people have done that.
I know.
And don't even realize it.
I know. I know. This whole
That's
podcast
crazy.
should get our brain scanned, by the way.
Not after trying to figure out tech.
That's true. I would really like Adam.
We're picking up a pretty calm day on the lake, if you know what I mean.
So anyway, it turns out the official diagnosis or whatever is Zane's brain is going 100 miles an hour all the time, which if you know him, it makes a lot of sense.
And he wants to be busy, and he doesn't like to stand still much, and
yes.
always.
Ellie, does that make sense for Zane's brain's going 100 miles an hour? Yeah. So
All your kids' brains go 100 miles.
okay. She says all our brains do that. Well, guess what, friends? You come by it naturally.
Oh, you're also in the left lane.
You get it from watching me. Exactly. So, I'm thinking like, well, what is it that we can do to help his brain?
Yeah.
And breathing will help. And then we're gonna do some kind of neurofeedback or something where he puts something on his skull and then watches a movie, and then they kind of dial it in to the certain brain waves of his to get him to subconsciously calm himself down.
Oh my word, that's wild. They can even do that.
I know. It's so exciting. So then Dr. B, he is like, well, do you want me to map your brain? I slid into that chair so fast. Skull cap goes on.
How fast am I going, Doc?
Yep, the little prodders are, Anyway, It's wild. What you have to do is you have to shut your eyes for 5 minutes.
Oh, that's why you want to get a nap in. I'd
Totally.
be about that too.
I know,
Nap for
right?
an hour. I don't care.
And then it's weird. Then you open your eyes and then you stare at something. I was staring at bananas for 5 minutes because they don't want your eyes to move at all.
All right, I'm going with it. That's
know,
fine.
right?
I like potassium.
Turns out I got the same part of my brain lit
just
up.
going.
Yeah. This guy, mine isn't like as intense as Zane's is, but it's like that same area in the back of my head. But then, so I asked this guy. I said, because I was prodding to see if I had a special brain, because I really wanted to be told I had a special brain.
You got the special map.
I was like, now this guy legitimately works with professional athletes, professional golfers, professional baseball players, professional football players. He's scanned thousands of brains.
In the professional sector.
He has.
That, which really actually is pretty wild.
And so I'm thinking, what degree of specialness have you seen in my brain map?
What sport should I play, coach?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking, what does this open for my future? And he goes, it's just a brain. He's like, I've scanned thousands of brains. Brains are just brains.
Were you like taking the cap off like, well, thanks for this time.
I'm going home.
That's right. Me and my regular brain.
Thanks for the burgers and the brain stem. I guess I'll leave.
Should map again sometime.
No,
Oh,
he
my
kind of
word.
said same thing with Zane. Like, I can work on breathing, which, I've been working on. And I don't know. We're going to buy some kind of electrode something. I don't know. I don't know. I'll let you know. Maybe I'll put it on when I'm doing the podcast. And it'll go dark when it gets super boring.
That's right. The lights will burn out because your electrical system got
Bring
fried.
it back with your mind.
So there's a way that they can actually, in a way, control the brain waves with this, like, whatever they put in your neck, and it's supposed to calm you down. Okay.
Well, what it is it's not like they can see your thoughts.
Which is
That's
for all of us. Ain't nobody want that kind of
My
map.
12-year-old was real happy that no one could see his thoughts. Right? So it's not like they can see your thoughts, but you hook yourself up to this. I'm calling it an electrode. I don't really know what it is.
You plug in.
And then you watch a movie, and they hone it in to where your exact brainwave issues are. And if you drift off, you got to bring the movie back. It's a system of rewards, right? It's Pavlov's dog. You get a treat if you like zone back in, and then the movie starts playing again.
This is so.
I'm so down.
For everybody. I think that sounds great for you guys.
I would like to see your brain map.
Actually, I would too. Because I'm lost.
I'm wondering
No, actually,
if it's
though.
just kind of like.
Well, you've driven with me. I'm going a steady 45 through every lane of life. But we get there alive.
Yeah.
But I'm curious because there are certain parts of my brain, like I'm going to be honest, like math or English. Like there's certain things that have been so difficult to retain. I have to read and read and read. Now, a movie I can watch once and it's fine. But I wonder if something's going on.
I wonder. Maybe you have a really special brain. Maybe you'll be the one.
Maybe I'll be the O positive brain. Or whatever that blood type is, that's very special. Who knows? But that's so wild. So this will help. And Zane will be able to like go a steady 70 on the highway and be okay.
I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense for who he is.
Yeah.
And everything that he said is and the brain scanner guy, Dr. B, he was like, I could have predicted this. Watching him on the field, I could have predicted that this is the exact area in his brain that would light up with the green and the yellow.
Interesting.
And so it's just helpful, right? Because and I think this is good advice. Everybody does have a brain, and so don't get like super upset if yours goes a little haywire in a certain area.
Totally.
Figure out how to, bring it back. I don't know. I did tell him I was taking ashwagandha.
Was he like, okay.
He's like, oh.
Oh, great. Now, does that speed up anything?
I think what it does and why I like it is that it calms me down.
Oh,
It calms
interesting.
down that area that's like lit up. He was also saying, now that my whole life, Eliana, I know we can't really hear you, but what do I take every afternoon at 1 o'clock? A nap.
That's right. In fact, you used to call it the reset nap.
The transition nap.
The transition. That's right. Sorry,
Transition
don't reset
nap.
all the way.
And when my eyes were closed, the problem solving part of my brain like lit up or something, and I was like, "That's why I take this nap because that's when I solve all the problems, and that's when I think."
So that's your meeting with yourself. You're
Exactly.
like, okay, how do we figure this sucker out?
Apparently, that's also not a special thing. Like, it's not like the best thing in the world. He's gonna send me the report. I'll have more to report back next week.
That's wild. that they
I know
can
it was
do that.
fun. It was fun.
That is. It was
Should
fun.
we should do our podcast at his house
While being
sometime.
Maybe
While being mapped.
I might volunteer being the video example for that.
There you go.
Why not? Now he doesn't. It's just all like on top of your head. He doesn't, go digging.
No, he doesn't dig into your skull. That's a whole different kind of dinner party.
That's one I'm busy for.
RSVP, no for me.
My brain stays with me inside. Wow, that is something else. I can't believe it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad, at least in that sense, that is a road that you can go on that's going to help him out, and maybe everybody.
Yeah.
Here's my hypothesis from Dr. Adam. You ready for this? I think that we are so distracted doing multiple things constantly, it has caused everybody's brain to go 100 billion miles an hour.
Yeah.
I think everybody's just going super fast.
I disagree.
Okay.
After learning a little bit about beta, theta, gamma ray technology,
Yeah, we're all the Hulk.
I just think people's brains process the world differently. And so
That's
I
fair.
think getting a deep dive into a brain is like so fascinating because the way that you respond to the world is different than the way that I respond to the world and the way Ellie responds to the world. But I think it's like some of these just, I do think that watching endless amounts of YouTube and things like that does affect it.
Sure.
I have a problem with scrolling on TikTok.
The reels and the little videos.
And it's just, and like I could spend an hour just swiping,
Oh, yeah.
on the video.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like a dopamine rush.
Oh, for sure.
And a different thing I learned from a brain doctor this week on TikTok, oddly enough.
If TikTok ever dies, so are you.
So am I.
I guess that's all you're in.
Might be the best thing for my brain.
Sure.
Dr. Amen
Right.
said that it's better to have a dopamine drip, and not a dopamine rush, because then it's training your brain. So, I guess to your point, it's training your brain to look for that hit, right?
Right, totally. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We're always wired, and we never have a chance
Yes.
to come down
Yes.
and just.
Yeah, that's why it can be difficult to get out of the scroll.
Yes.
I have to set time limits that I always ignore to stop the doom scrolling. But I don't really know what to do about it because it's also the resource that I use for all of my show prep. So I sort of am struggling yeah, but that's where I get all my information on what to talk about.
Well, do you find there's a certain line where you don't find anything to talk about, like after 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Boom, there's your line.
There's my line.
I'm talking like I'm an expert. I was
I know.
up super late last night watching how to make food videos.
You were?
Well, just any videos.
Is that your own version of doom scrolling?
It is. That, workout tips, funny comedy videos.
Yeah.
Man, those 30-second hits.
Where do you watch it? YouTube?
Instagram.
Instagram Reels.
Instagram Reels.
Ellie said something really interesting.
right.
You know, that I've been thinking about this a lot in my brain. My non-special brain. She was talking about Instagram Reels, and I dismissed it like that's for old people, the Instagram Reels. She goes, actually, it's not. Actually, Instagram has a better handle on what she likes to view versus TikTok.
Yes.
And then I've noticed it's totally true. But we make these brash assumptions based on what my preference is. And so
Right.
then we assume it should be true for everybody.
Right, exactly. I think everybody is a billionaire with amazing weddings and vacations. Shocker alert.
Yeah.
It's not true.
It's not true.
So if you can't afford a big trip to Abu Dhabi or whatever that town is, don't worry about it.
Abu Dhabi.
Or Dubai.
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, Dubai. As in Dubai to my money. No, you know that really like that ridiculously wealthy city
I know.
in
It is
Middle
a
East.
constant effort to going back to training your brain to understand that everything posted on social media is not real.
Totally. Oh, it's not. It's not.
I struggle with it too.
When everyone's comparing each other and being like, I don't have that stage at this stage in life yet, and blah blah blah. Hey, you know what? The Lord has you in your own timeline.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Like the Lord just has you.
So as a youth pastor of somebody that speaks into kids' lives, this is like, I would say, one of the biggest things they deal with. How do you approach that?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When we do youth group nights, and I learned this great tip from another youth minister friend of mine, we take their phones. We have a phone table so they can't get distracted.
So good.
Oh, it was a brilliant idea from the other youth minister. So I said, we're adopting that. And it's great because literally, like, we take these kids to a summer conference. It's like a 2.5-day worship conference in Ohio every year.
Yeah.
And the first night and that Saturday, we have their phones in their dorms. They have to keep them in the rooms they're staying. And then they get it back that Saturday night to Sunday when we leave Sunday afternoon. And by Sunday afternoon, boom, they're back on those suckers so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they'd be doing the whole conference if they had their phones. So get a phone box, get a phone room, just put it somewhere where it's banished.
That is such a good idea. I've heard of one that people keep in their dining room. So at meal times, I am so bad at that. I was at dinner with the brain guy last night and his lovely wife.
Mrs. Brain.
And my phone is like pinging me text messages and you just are like I'm talking. These are new friends. Like, hello, make an effort. I should have left my watch at home.
And every ping, he was just like, He's just writing it down like,
Diagnosing.
Yeah.
It's a strip.
That's a fast brain.
It's not a special brain.
That's true. But it's true. Like, I have my phone literally flipped down the table because if it's up and it lights up, I'll get distracted. It's ridiculous.
I'm thinking about abandoning my Apple Watch.
Oh, that's big.
I know. I'm thinking I'm going to switch over to a Cure ring, maybe, because I do like it. I do. It's a ring you wear, but it isn't so it tracks your sleep, it tracks your workouts, but then it pushes it to an app that you look at later.
Oh.
The problem with my watch is when I work out, I do run on that trampoline. I'm not going to go into it again. But I like to do like 3 or 4 miles, and so it does track my times in walking and doing miles. So I don't know, but I'm like, I don't like being so connected to my tech all the time.
I was going to say, how did you live before the Apple Watch?
I was miserable. And overweight.
Slept 3 minutes a day and rebounded for 3. No, I think about that. I'm like, hey, we lived for thousands of years with all this stuff. I mean, okay, there was some bumps along the way for me. That's like hygiene and electricity and all that. But we made it.
We made it. Some of us did.
Well, that's true.
No. You don't have a smartwatch.
I don't. I don't wear anything. I've never even worn a real watch. I don't like it.
I'm right now not wearing my wedding ring, and don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed.
I wasn't until you said that.
You're like, I'm trapped in a radio studio with you in your basement. What's going on? So I went to get my... Dave's in my 23rd wedding anniversary is Friday.
Oh my gosh, happy anniversary, you guys.
Thank you. And so
Didn't get you anything.
diamonds started falling out of my wedding ring.
Oh.
And so I know, is this a bad
it was
message?
Just it just means you love each other so much your heart is raining diamonds over each other.
Oh, that's a good way to look
Isn't
at
that
it.
Nice?
No, I don't believe in bad omens or anything like that. I don't. But
diamonds.
so I bring it in, and I'm just thinking that they can pop in some new diamonds because it had a center diamond.
Okay.
And then it had little rows of teeny tiny diamonds on the sides of it.
Really?
Uh-huh. And so I'm just like, yeah, some diamonds are popping out. Can you just pop those back in? So the lady takes out, what's that one? Is it a monocle?
I don't think it's a monocle. I think you're thinking of the Monopoly guy.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
It's like the zoom in one mini telescope where they're like, how many carats is this?
Yes, that thing. That thing. So she gets that thing out. And then she starts looking at the ring, and she was like, ooh, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is worn down. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my word. Then she turns it over. And she sets the ring on the table and she was like, this ring has experienced blunt force trauma.
What? Great, now we're diagnosing rings.
I was like, yeah, it's on my hand all the time and I do everything in this ring.
For 23 years.
Probably hit it with a hammer at one point.
I mean, all the home renos and all the fist pumping and everything.
Yeah. Well, then it's so dad. That was free.
Yeah, so dad bought me a new ring.
That was a little
Hi,
Freudian
Cece
slip.
Dad, if you're listening or watching.
Dave. Thank you very much.
Gosh, that's what you confused it with.
You know, Dave. So what they said to me was, you know, this would be a time if you're going to upgrade your setting. Now would be the time because it would be just as expensive to repair your exact ring as it was 23 years ago, which was the year 2000. Wow. Or you can upgrade your setting and take a guess what I went for, the two options.
Oh, you upgraded and then bought an upgrade for the upgrade.
Thank you. You know me very well.
I know you very well.
Then my lovely husband Dave was like, but this is the ring I gave you 23 years ago, and it's symbolic because sometimes you experience blunt force trauma in your life. And so then I was like, I go, oh, I still want the upgrade, but yeah.
As Dave is weeping diamonds from his eyes and so traumatically that
He's such a feeler.
he is a feeler.
He is.
But like he doesn't wear that on his sleeve.
No.
Which is what I appreciate.
I know.
He saves it for the special moments.
I know.
Which between you guys.
The problem is I have snapped a photo of my hand in the upgraded setting, and I can't really let it go. But I did love my original ring. I did.
Can they merge the two?
They're thinking about, and I think this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Melting down the gold. Well, then I have an anniversary band, which has 10 diamonds in it.
Wow.
That I got on my 10th anniversary. But here's the thing: I didn't get it from Dave. I got it from my jeweler.
I wasn't even here. Well, they just send you a 10th anniversary ring?
Well, okay, so at the radio station, we have a special relationship with a local jeweler.
Oh, yes, okay. Fine guy.
So so he comes in, what was it? Oh, no, I was doing a live broadcast. And I had tried this anniversary band on, and he let me just take it.
No way.
Yeah, so it came from my jeweler. So but it's it's special to me too. I mean, not in the same way of a ring from my husband. I'm not even saying that. It's not weird. So they're thinking about, I don't know, melting down the gold, taking the diamonds from the band that I got from the jeweler, combining it, and like melding it into a new setting.
I like that. What's a better example for marriage? Two become one.
Plus your jewelry.
Plus your pleasure. Yeah.
Not good.
No, never mind. Nope. Keep your rings on separate fingers. Forget it. Great. I got to do a youth group talk about rings. Wonderful.
So I don't want to hurt Dave's feelings, and I just also don't want to put gobs of money into recreating the original.
True.
When I could.
True. Can they like with a car? Could they just do like a little repair to keep it going for a while? And just wear it till it dies?
That's no fun.
That's what, you want the new Cadillac Escalade. I see where we're at. This is good to know because I'm taking notes.
For your future?
For my future ring.
Buy one of those plastic silicone bands.
The ones you always see football players wearing.
It's like $20.
Those don't melt down. They don't break.
Yeah. They don't experience blunt force trauma.
Next time I give you a high five and it's super gentle, I'm going to know why now.
If you want more of the Mom Millennial Podcast, well, then subscribe. That way you'll get new episodes without having to do the work, and that's totally our jam.